Hi everyone, it's Andrea over at Sewspire.com, and I am here today to present to you the very first prototype in our Design a Bag with Andrea series. I have it right here. In addition, I want to share with you some of the interfacings and implements, if you will, that you can use to make this particular bag sturdier. And then I also want to share with you the cut measurements for this project. And then we will be meeting next Friday to cut everything out and prep it. I'll be at the sewing machine and at the cutting table with you because I want to get you all set for the sew together, which happens the very next day, Saturday, August 28th at 10 a.m. We're going to assemble this bag together, and that will be the final event in this ongoing Design a Bag with Andrea series. So it's getting very exciting, but without further ado, let me show you what we have created as a community. So here is my prototype, the removable messenger strap and double handles, the last pole, so that's what you see here. But what I just pulled out of the pocket was the contoured strap, which I wanted to show you as an option because I think this is a really awesome idea, but it definitely changes the bag, the look of it a lot. It also slightly impedes the functionality of it because when that strap is attached, you don't have as much ease of access to the contents, right? Because you can't really get that strap completely out of the way. So that is something for you to consider. I do feel like this contoured strap would definitely be nice and comfy on the shoulder. It certainly is stylish. So maybe the solution with this strap is to just make it a little longer, but I absolutely wanted you to see that that was an option, and it really is a fabulous look. I am definitely going to be integrating this strap on another piece, so I'm going to hang on to that. So you'll notice this particular strap is attached, and that is simply because that's my personal preference, and since this is just the prototype, I wanted to design it so I would absolutely use it. But on the bag that we're going to sew together on the 28th, we will be creating the removable adjustable messenger strap. So you'll also notice I used a pre-made strap on this. I got an absolutely screaming deal. All of this web strap here was less than $3, and it happened to coordinate beautifully with this fabric, so I also couldn't help myself there. So I do have the tri-glide on that, which is what makes it adjustable, and then I use the 2 O-rings at the side to securely attach that to the bag, and then I incorporated 2 shorter handles on this. When I have a larger bag like this, I do like to minimize that handle drop so that it sits nice and snug on my shoulder, or I can carry it in hand or in the crook of the elbow. So I'm coming in at 8 inches, which for some people, especially if you have to wear a coat in the winter, is not going to be enough clearance there. So that's something for you to definitely keep in mind. So I did incorporate the waxed canvas into this prototype here, and it was folded, so if I wanted to, I could press that out, that wrinkle there. It's not recommended that you fold your wax canvas. It arrives on a roll. I did have this piece folded, and that's why you see that crease there, but over time that's going to give way, and it won't bother me in the meantime. So I used a wax canvas, which does offer this bag a lot of stability. And then in addition to that, I put in this faux piping here, and then I kind of stepped way outside of the box. I don't know, maybe somebody else has done this before, but I inserted chenille pipe cleaners into that piping to give the bag a little bit more stability. This bag absolutely stands on its own. There's nothing inside of that, and you can see like it's not flopping over. It's very stable. That is in part because of the wax canvas, in part because of the pipe cleaners, which I fit right inside of that faux piping, and in part because of the boning, which I sandwiched in between the fold at the top of the exterior of this wax canvas. If you're not familiar, this is what boning is. I went with the Feather Light. Here's what it looks like outside of the package. It has this, gosh, I don't even know what to call that, but it's like a clear plastic that is very stable. And then you can shape this and give, oh gosh, anything you want really. It's designed for garment sewing. I used to put it in the neckline of nursing cover-ups that I made for new moms, and that's how I first came to work with it. But it really is very useful in the top of large bags that you need to have a lot of stability, because had I not put the boning in there, this bag would collapse a little bit at the center here. Now, I personally love an unstructured kind of floppy bag that takes the shape of the contents, but I know a lot of people prefer a bag that has a great deal of stability. And then in some cases, like if you're going to use this as a computer bag or a travel bag, that stability is absolutely essential. So a way that you can attain really nice stability without adding weight is using this boning along that top edge. So I went ahead and ran the boning all the way around in like one big oval, including the sides. I think in the bag that we sew together, I may only include it in the front and the rear so that my sides will still collapse and I can get a little less of a boxy shape on that. I like both looks. I'm just really curious to see what it looks like without the boning. So I wanted to mention that to you. Then the exterior pockets here are crafted just from the quilt weight cotton, and I have the accent fabric there, and they are then divided with a series of 3 stitches right down the center. There are 2 on the front and 2 on the back. You certainly could incorporate side pockets into this design if you needed additional storage space on the exterior. We decided not to because we didn't want it to look too much like a diaper bag, and so we left those sides open. Then you all voted, and the zipper top closure definitely was the clear winner. And so in this case, I just went with an 18-inch YKK zipper that has that nice big pull on it. You could also do a double pull zipper, would be really nice, or zipper by the yard. And it is a recessed zipper, and then I attach these little tabs to the end of it. For this particular project, I want to try and use a standard zipper, like 18-inch, so that anybody who comes across this tutorial can be successful. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and use in our sew along. And it does, even though it's not attached at the ends, it does really provide a lot of security because of those tabs. The way this sits, you would have to work pretty hard to get inside of there. And so I like that look. Now the interior of this is crafted from a woven canvas, and so that also offers a lot of structure. Now because the wax canvas doesn't really take very well to being ironed because the wax kind of melts, I used fusible fleece as the interfacing on the canvas for the interior, and that adds a lot of body all by itself. So the fleece with the cotton twill, with the wax canvas, with the boning, and with the chenille pipe cleaners, all together, you can imagine this bag is durable and sturdy. Then on the inside we have 3 elasticized slip pockets there, and they are not, you know, not so elasticized that you would feel again like this is a diaper bag. It's pretty close to the actual panel. It's just enough room that if you needed, you could have that expansion and it would help keep the contents secure. I'm really happy with how those pockets came together. I did use the 1/4 inch elastic, and what I did that was a little different than what I normally do is I ran 2 rows of this 1/4 inch elastic through that gusset in the top of the pocket, and I think that helped stabilize the pocket a lot because it definitely achieved a different look than I normally get with the elasticized pockets. So that could be why. Then on the opposite side of the interior, there is another full length zipper pocket there that could hold a great deal of contents, a swivel fob, and then the spacious interior there. You could add an optional removable hard bottom base to this if you wanted even more stability. So I'm really excited to hear what you think of our collaborative design. I like it a lot. I think, you know, depending upon what fabric you chose, the look is going to change substantially. This here is just such a great look for me, but I would also like to see this crafted in just 100% quilting cottons, and maybe some really feminine prints could be a lot of fun. But like, I think this particular bag will be a blast to carry for fall. I do want to give you the finished measurements on this. It turned out a little bigger than I think I had imagined it would be. So it's 5 inches deep at the base, and then we tapered these panels, so it's 4 inches at the top. It is 12 inches tall, and then across here we're coming in at 16 inches, and across the top we're coming in at 14.5 inches there. So it's a really spacious, beautiful bag, and I'm excited to sew it with you all. Now I am going to give you the cut measurements for this bag in case you would like to start pre-cutting but I will be here with you next week, and I will have all the pattern pieces cut out, and we're going to prep them all together so that you're ready for the sew together on Saturday, August 28th. So please don't feel like you need to pre-cut right now. I just wanted, for those of you that are out there wondering, I wanted to go ahead and get you these measurements because if you wanted to order or shop for your fabric, this would be very useful for you. So for the exterior pockets, those are 9 inches tall by 17 inches wide, and there are 4 cuts of material, quilt weight cotton. For the interior zipper pocket, that's 9 inches by 17 inches, and there are 2 cuts of quilt weight cotton. For the zipper pocket trim, you're going to need a 4-inch by 17-inch strip of cotton fabric. And then for the interior elasticized pocket, that's 1 cut of cotton fabric that's 18 inches tall by 21 inches wide, and we're going to fold that to create that pocket. The key fob is 3 inches wide by 9 inches long. The zipper gusset is 5 inches wide by 14.5 inches long, and then you're going to also need the little pieces of fabric that go at the ends of that. So I cut my piece 5 inches by 17 inches, and I cut 2 of those, and then I trimmed that piece down to 14.5 inches, and I used the little cut that I cut off to create those zipper ends. So I hope that that is helpful to you. Now, the main body panels are 14 inches tall by 17 inches across, and there are 4 of those. The side panels are 14 inches tall by 6 inches wide, and there are 4 of those. And the base panel is 6 inches deep by 17 inches long, and there are 2 of those. Depending upon what kind of strapping you use and how much of a drop you want, that amount of material is going to vary for you. Typically, if I'm crafting a fabric messenger strap, I will do 1 full cut of cotton fabric, which is 6 by like the 44, plus an additional 12 inches, and then I'll seam that so that I have a long enough strap. For the handles, you could definitely just do 2 6-inch wide full cuts of fabric and then trim that down to attain the length that you want on those double handles there. If you did want that extra stability, I'm suggesting fusible fleece, Pellon 808 or 809. You might also be able to use quilt batting depending upon your material that you're using. For the exterior, if you go with the wax canvas, you don't have a lot of options, especially fusibles won't work for that. So think outside the box and think about how you could interface the interior or add the boning or piping or a hard bottom base to make up for that lack of interfacing or batting on the exterior. All that being said, only you know the capabilities of your machine. All of these layers were pushing my Juki, and that's a pretty heavy duty machine. I couldn't add any more to this. So keep that in mind. You know your machine. If you need to go on the light end, go on the light end. This bag will still look great crafted from quilting cotton with batting as the interfacing, all right? So just don't overdo it on that. And then I'm going to type up all these measurements for you, and I'm going to link to a PDF so you have them nice and neat and they make sense. As far as fabric requirements go, remember I purchased 5 yards total of 5 different prints. So that's what you're going to be seeing me use on Saturday. So right now, that's what I'm suggesting. You're going to need less material, but I don't want anybody to be without coordinates or options if they want them. So for this sew together, plan on having 5 yards of material at your disposal. And then next Friday, we're going to cut it all out so you'll know exactly what's what and where it goes. We're going to prep it all, and by prep I mean we're going to prepare the pockets, and if I go with the piping, if we sew handles, which I'm pretty certain we will, we're going to have all the body panels interface. All of that legwork is getting done next Friday, and then I'm going to meet you Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time, and we're going to sew it together. Some of you will be live on the Zoom with me. More details about how you can join us on the Zoom and actually sew together as a community will be forthcoming, so stay tuned. And some of you will be watching the live stream on YouTube, but everybody's going to be a part of it, and we're going to have a special hashtag so you can show us your bags, and we'll all be celebrating this cool experience and our beautiful design. Now, the next exciting step in this process, which also is going to take place next Friday, is you are going to get to vote and decide what we're naming this bag. So if you have suggestions for the name of the bag, please drop those in the comments, and then we're going to take all those suggestions, and the Sewspire patrons are going to narrow it down to 4 or 5 of their favorites, and then that's what you guys are going to vote on. But you will be the deciding factor in the name of this bag. There will be a step-by-step PDF tutorial for this project too, if that's something that you like to have. And then again, everyone's going to be there at the sew along, so everybody's going to know how to make the bag, and everybody's going to have the chance to sew with us and show off your beautiful bag. Let me know please if you have any questions, if there's anything you love or don't love about the design, if there's anything you want our design team to know, any last minute changes, drop those all in the comments. And I can't wait to see you next week for the prep and on Saturday for the actual sew along. This has been a really great experience. I learned a lot, like I always do, about your preferences and how talented you are, and it just really was a great way to wrap up summer. All that being said, I'm super excited for what fall holds for us as well. So stay tuned for more details about what we're going to be spending the rest of the year doing here at Sewspire. And I will see you next Friday. So as always, please know the creative genius in me will be celebrating the creative genius in you. I hope you all have a beautiful week. Thank you for spending this time with me.